Okay, welcome to the second show, the second episode of our new podcast, the Eric and Audra podcast. We've got some cool updates to share with you. But let me just say right out of the gate, today's episode is about TDS.
Trump Derangement Syndrome.
Wait a minute, I thought it was the Daily Show.
That's what I think of when I hear TDS, so...
No, Trump Derangement Syndrome. Let's do that. But first, let's introduce ourselves again because we've only got one episode. And technically, I don't even think we've launched it yet. I don't think we've published it to the world.
I think it's out there. We'll see.
Wait, no, it's on YouTube.
It's on the tube. It's not like on the Facebook or TikToks or Instagrams yet, but we are doing that.
That's true. It's out on YouTube.
It has like 5 views.
My 13-year-old... was talking to me about it, and she said, "What? You have a podcast?" And she goes, "Give me the link." And then she immediately went, "Oh, how cute! You have 4 views."
Just did it. What are you telling anybody?
I know. I was like, "Well, 3 of them are mine." So, but
I had to show Mom how to do it, and then she kept getting distracted and talking to me. And then, she just watched it probably a few times, so it may have more views now because...
What's the premise of this show? Who are you?
I am a liberal atheist, not a fan of Trump. Progressive liberal leftist type person of the United States, and Eric is in general.
No, I can introduce myself.
I was gonna say we're like textbook polar opposites on almost every metric.
That is pretty true.
We're both married.
Yeah. That we got that samey.
Yeah. Out of our 3 other siblings,
yes,
we're the 2 shortest. That's.
But I am a foot and a half taller than you.
Oh yeah. Still a very respectable height. I'm actually short.
So, and I am the right-wing host on the show. Right-wing, conservative, Christian, born again, Sunday school teacher for a couple of decades, leading small groups, life groups, all the things to point people to God and teach God's holy word out of the Bible. Married, engine nerd, sport. I do things for engineering. We'll just say that. You got something you said?
I was just gonna say, I play a lot of video games, and I'm a dungeon master.
True, she is a dungeon master. So we got those coming from both sides. So
I thought about something about being a dungeon master that might benefit me in this scenario.
What?
So if you're doing life group and you're doing stuff for government or whoever you work for, I don't know.
Whoever it is.
When you're doing all that stuff, you're basically reading your information, prepping it, trying to say it out loud. Whereas as a dungeon master, anything I think I'm going to say out loud, my next instinct is, what are the 5 ways they can flip this on me and make it something I totally didn't plan? Mm-hmm. And all I do is just sit there and think of hypothetical, when are they going to screw me over with this? How do I get back? How do I keep us on track without keeping them from being like on a tunnel, so.
Yes, and that's why I invited you to join me in this venture. So the main agenda for our podcast is to bridge the gap between left and right. It has just gone off the rails. There's too much tension. There's too much hatred. We need to go back to what we teach our kids. People are more important than things. People are more important than politics. We need to practice the second greatest commandment from Jesus. Love your neighbor as yourself. We need to put that into practice. So let's do that. And you can't do that by hating them, by throwing things at them, and by killing them. So that's it. I actually came across a verse of scripture yesterday that I want to share. This is from the love chapter, 1 Corinthians 13. This really reflects the agenda, the passion behind this podcast. I thought it was so cool. So, and one, I shared this with my co-host, mm-hmm. and she didn't respond at all. So
I didn't even read it fully because I was in the middle of doing a lot of technical stuff for our podcast. So on that thread, I was like, don't send me stuff like that.
Yeah, because God's holy word's not a priority to her.
Here's the sign-in information, Eric. I made the 2 other web pages we talked about.
Yeah. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 7, it says, love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wrong. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. So, even though my sister doesn't really put much weight into Scripture, I know she puts weight into this message.
Yeah.
This reflects her. I'll tell you what's kind of crazy. My sister is pretty darn awesome. She's just naturally good. Me, as a Christian, I'm constantly trying to die to self, die to this flesh. I like what is the statement that's attributed to C.S. Lewis. You don't have a soul. You are a soul. You have a body. But this flesh is sinful and it's constantly wanting to do what feels good and is lazy. And I'm constantly trying to die to self and then follow Christ and follow Jesus. And she's kind of a natural. And I don't know that she even knows Jesus, but she's naturally good. Probably better than many Christians I know. So she still needs Jesus. She still needs to get saved. We don't get saved by our works. We get saved by grace through faith. So we know that. Let's keep going. This isn't a sermon. This is a podcast. Come on. What are you doing?
Get out of here.
So we talked about that. Let me give you a few updates. So we called this the Eric and Audra podcast. Guess what? We got a new name.
Guess who thought of it? Me.
Yeah, the smart one.
My 3 years of literary magazine is finally paying off.
We're going with, I'll let you do the honors. What's the new name?
I said the olive branch.
Ooh, why?
Because that's like a colloquial term for extending a peace offering, trying to show there's no harm. And then Eric was like, oh, you mean the Christian reference? He actually thought of a different one. He said something about Jesus getting a branch thrown at him. And then we remembered it was about the dove and the ark that didn't happen.
Yeah, so here's the biblical significance of the olive branch. In the story of Noah, a dove returns to the ark with an olive branch, signaling that the flood was over and land was reappearing. This is a key biblical reference for the olive branch as a symbol of hope and the end of a destructive event. So the olive branch is significant as its enduring symbol of peace, reconciliation, and goodwill. So this is great. Good name. Well done. Excellent. So we're trying to launch. We're trying to get out there. We're trying to get into cyberspace and the internet and get this podcast out there so it's accessible by the public. Mm-hmm. So what's our tactics for doing that? What are all the...
We still need to make a Facebook, Instagram page, which my goal is to do that today. We have a TikTok made, finally, that isn't weird. I had to make 3 of them, basically, because TikTok loves to make weird accounts and then autofill stuff for you. But we have a TikTok now. We have a Reddit page, and both of those are in the show notes of YouTube. If you go to our channel, it's like the links that are attached by our channel name. And you can go see our Reddit page, and we already have a bunch of, I think it's like 25 or 27 different topics, just the name of the topic. And you can upvote or downvote stuff that you want us to do next, or if you don't want us to do that right away. And you can leave comments and stuff, so then people can tell us what they want us to do.
So tell us what you want to hear about. We got our opinions, we got our thoughts. The only thing else is we also created an email address, so you can email us if you want to.
Eric hates it.
I don't hate anything. I'm all about love. And
agree to disagree.
Well, I did ask her a question, and sometimes questions are received as hate.
Yes.
No, she created a joint email address for us to monitor, and but it says Eric's Olive Branch. So she's so selfless. This isn't what I was telling you about. This is how she's Christ-like. She was selfless. She just called it Eric's Olive Branch.
It is your idea. You came to me with the idea, but I figured I did so many variations trying to get the original handle so that it'd be easy for people to say and type in if they wanted to email us. And the Olive Branch, Eric and Audrey's Olive Branch was way too long.
Yeah.
And so I did Eric's Olive Branch, and he's like, "Why is it just me? Why isn't it us?" And I'm like, "'Cause it wasn't an original email handle, and it was hard."
Okay,
But that's our email for now.
Yeah, here's the deal. I know you don't care about all that. I don't care about all of it. Okay, there's internets, there's sites. It's happening. Okay, it's out there. If you got those accounts, check them. If you don't. It don't matter. TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. What the heck is that?
And which side has it?
Yeah, she told me that before, and I thought that was just very witty on her part. That's actually a thing. I thought that's the first time I've ever heard it. I never knew Trump Derangement Syndrome could be associated with the right, but that's part of the definition. So that's just so...
I've only known it to be on the right, and I have heard in some interviews people will say, "Well, you have Trump Derangement Syndrome since you hate him so much."
Oh my gosh. I was only aware that it was associated with the left. This is just so crazy. We talk about it. You mentioned it in the previous episode about how
Algorithms be wild.
Yes, and I think I misheard you. I thought you said AI,
Well,
but no, you did. You said algorithm, but it definitely feeds in that, and we know that, and we know that there's cognitive bias, there's cognitive dissonance, and I'm about to read the definition of that. Make sure we're all
on the same page.
On the same page. But man, I think it's creating an impact far greater than you really know. But let's read that. Well, let's read the definition of Trump Derangement Syndrome. It's come to mean this: an inability to think objectively about Donald Trump, whether through obsessive hatred or uncritical adoration. Let me just say it again. An ability to think objectively about Donald Trump, whether through obsessive hatred or uncritical adoration. And then maybe it's good for me to just read cognitive dissonance and bias.
Yeah, get out there.
Cognitive dissonance is that uneasy feeling when your mind's beliefs and your actions or new information don't line up, and you subconsciously twist something to make them fit again. And it's really hand in hand dissonance and bias. Here's confirmation bias. It is the tendency to seek out, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms that what you already believe, while ignoring or dismissing evidence that contradicts those beliefs. Mm-hmm. So the bottom line is, well, my dear psychologist, would you say, how applicable is that to the masses?
I think it's very applicable.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
And especially with algorithms feeding either one way or another. Like for me, I have made it a point to check out of a lot of news because it's not good for my mental health. And I don't get Trump on my feed.
What does that mean, not good for your health? Do you mean it just puts you in a bad mood?
It makes me depressed for a few days.
Yeah. Okay, got you.
So I have...
So any mainstream media would probably fall into that category.
I get news by accident with little headlines and clips and people posting stuff that I'm friends with and I do follow.
Yeah.
And I'll read into it a little bit, and sometimes I'll read in more. And usually I'm like, that's good. I got it. I get what the world's up to.
Yeah.
But I don't have Trump in my feed at all.
Wow, then you don't watch any mainstream media because he's in all news.
Sometimes I get articles that will mention him, but I don't have him talking at all.
Okay. So you don't watch actually newscasts like with people speaking audibly. You read articles?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I'm more lazy. I just watch Fox News. Yeah. So my wife recently challenged me to watch CNN or MSNBC or whatever and just try to get another angle of view. And I watched a little bit and it just annoyed me.
I had
So.
a conversation with my old boss.
It probably challenged my confirmation bias, and then it made me uncomfortable. It's like I like to hear what I already believe.
Yeah. No, I actually had that conversation with my old boss. He was a conservative, I think, Trump supporter.
Yeah.
And he asked me, like, well, where'd you get that, CNN? I was like, I don't even know. I just know I've read articles that seemed factual, that didn't have, like, an emotional... If I can tell how somebody feels about what they're telling me, I don't consider it news. I consider that entertainment.
Gotcha.
And if I'm looking for news, I quit taking that source in, and I start looking for a more objective recollection of the events. I just want the facts.
Yeah.
But as far as your cognitive dissonance and confirmation bias, also a lot of people get into news because it excites them with anger or the validation of, yeah, my feelings are right and this is exciting to me because I'm right and it's important and whatever. And if CNN, whether they were not praising Trump or if they were just saying normal news, it could just be boring. And this isn't the emotional validation I'm used to when people are clapping and telling me that my opinions are on the right side of history and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I want to say that, in the definition, it said, as far as the applicable of TDS on the right side, it was uncritical adoration.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that doesn't apply to me. Like if Trump has a fault, I am not against going, yeah, that's wrong. But so I don't defend his every action. But I like how you use the expression, this is a feature, not a bug, because I'm definitely familiar with software, and that's software design terminology. Mm-hmm. So it clicks, even though I hate software.
You don't hate, you love everything.
That's true. I love software. With Trump, the things that the left hate about Trump, the MAGA folk, one, let me hit pause. I just noticed I'm wearing this cool shirt. Do you see this shirt? I'm wearing a red shirt that says, "Make my knee great again."
Not as good as my shirt.
Okay. Well, hang on. Let me talk about this. So it's a spin off of the MAGA movement, but my daughter, she'll buy me shirts all the time from like Goodwill, and she'll come present it on Father's Day or something. I'm like, oh, I love this. This is so cute. She's like, $3. And she boasts about how cheap it was. But it's a good, this is my way of supporting the MAGA movement today. What are you wearing?
During Joe Biden's election, I guess, where Kamala Harris was the running mate, I painted a picture because I was excited we'd have a lady vice president. And then I made a shirt. It's actually a shirt for my mom, but also today in support of anti-MAGA.
So, one, I commend you on utilizing your artistry to make such a design. I think that's so cool. But I also can't think of any situation I would ever wear that out in public. Anyway.
I would say the same for the MAGA shirts.
Okay, so we were talking about Trump and how I'm not critical of him. I don't have a uncritical adoration. But here's the rub of what, trying to think about this. I believe what the left hates about Trump, the right loves about Trump. So it's the exact same thing. We're looking at the exact same thing, and left hates it, right loves it. Essentially, like I'll just say he's the candidate that has come forward and just politically incorrect. Very politically incorrect. He's very anti-woke. He hits the woke agenda head on, and the people in the public who agree with that stance, man, it just resonates and they love it. And then of course there's a huge group that love the woke movement, that love political correctness. And so there's the tension. What do you think of that?
I think there's a difference between being politically incorrect and being anti-woke. If someone tells you this bothers me, it's a weird stance to be like, I don't care, I'm going to do it more. And if you are the leader of the free world in the highest public office, for you to have that stance is very immature, if nothing else.
Yeah.
If you know you're hurting someone's feelings or offending someone, you can at least say, yeah, I've always used that phrase. I've never thought of it as offensive. It's never been my intention to be malicious. Just know that's not my intention.
Yeah.
But to double down
and
say, I don't care about the feelings of half of my constituents.
Yeah. So
that's not appropriate for his position. You wouldn't do that at work, would you?
I hope not. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of history, and I'm talking about recent history, the last several years, maybe a decade plus. Because the woke movement, I mean, I don't even know when woke started being a thing. Was it 2015, a decade? I don't know.
It's been a phrase in, I believe, black culture for a while, and then it got co-opted by more liberal and hipsters, and it just basically means shutting your eyes to systematic oppression, and then, no, I'm awake. My eyes are open, and I see what's happening.
So,
it's been bored.
So, as that movement came about and that voice started getting louder and louder, what are you doing?
Yeah, here.
Oh, okay.
Continue. Sorry, I'm ADHD.
Yeah, I had a hair on my hand.
It's probably mine.
Yeah.
I'm flouncing around a lot.
Okay. As the woke movement started to get louder and louder, I guess people who were listening, the audience to that, were just listening. And then if there was any contesting to that message, they responded with a cancel culture. Mm-hmm. And that cancel culture is already on our hit list to hit. So we'll do a deep dive on that in a subsequent episode. But as they started to cancel, it had the effect, I think, that was intended. Ruin people's lives to the point where everyone else is scared to contest or ask questions. Mm-hmm. Even people with just legitimate fact-finding questions. Yeah. If you didn't go all in and go, I totally endorse this and I'm part of the movement and all that, you got shunned and abused. So a lot of people, even though they didn't agree with the woke message, they were so, I guess, scared silent that they just stayed quiet. For somebody of importance, of weight, an icon in the country to stand forward boldly and say what they wanted to say was just encouraging. And what's funny is I bet our feeds are so totally, I bet you've never even heard of this. Have you seen clips of these examples that you're talking about where like a very unapologetic Trump contesting some sort of woke movement or whatever, politically incorrect movement, and just doing it like a bulldog, and then it ends with him having like these gangsta sunglasses,
the CSI shades or whatever,
and then some jazzy music over that sounds like, I see those all the time, but I bet you probably very rarely, if ever, see them.
I don't think I've seen one. If I have, it's been years.
I saw one yesterday.
I've seen that meme with other people and other things of the snazzy come back and then the glasses come on.
The one I'm thinking of, this is probably a great example. He was talking about how he is combating drugs and the war on drugs and all that, and the cartels and all the things. And a journalist says, sir, in a room full of reporters, sir, if you're declaring war on the cartels, why don't you just ask for a declaration of war? And this is Trump's response. He's like, I don't think we're going to do that. I think just anybody that's pushing drugs into our country, we're just going to kill them. We're just going to kill them, and they'll be dead. And then it goes to the sunglasses, and I think I can see how people are like, that is so inappropriate. It's unprofessional.
It's un-American. To be judged, jury, and executioner of people without a fair trial by their peers, that is guaranteed to us in the Constitution.
Yeah. Well, that sounds right against citizens, but
everybody is protected for a fair trial. Our government was anti-government when it got made, and the entire reason defendants get way more, I guess, safeguards than victims in crime is because the worst victim of any crime would be a victim of its own government. And that was something the Founding Fathers were severely about. So, they can't have people living in your house. I don't know. I'm bad about specifics. But yeah, they can't do things against you without proper cause and without procedure and without other people agreeing this is a fact.
Yeah.
That's why you can't have double jeopardy. You can't have a dirty cop that's mad at you because you stole their girlfriend. Just keep trying to put more evidence on you for the same crime.
Yeah. That's interesting. So as we go through discussions like this, I think we should make note of homework assignments. And to me, I don't know that I've ever taken the time or even thought about, does a non-U.S. citizen who's doing a crime against our nation
suspected of doing a crime because they're innocent until proven guilty under the American Constitution.
Well, that's just it. I don't know that
What if it's just a brown person we don't like and we want to get an accolade and a pat on the back and we're just throwing some people and killing them and saying they were criminals?
Okay. So
what's the process to stop that from happening?
So yeah, in my head, the U.S. Constitution does not apply to non-U.S. citizens.
It does.
Okay. That's a homework assignment because I don't think it does. Yeah. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We'll see.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, if you know and know why, do our homework for us.
Because we're trying not to pause and Google every 30 seconds.
Yeah, we're not doing that. We're doing this. Here, let me write that.
I'm writing it down.
You're writing it down?
Yeah.
Okay. But I will say this: the terminology used. He's talking about a declaration of war. At war, ain't nobody getting no trial. You're fighting to the death. I mean, that's what a war is. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious if that's what the journalist was kind of getting
What
at.
he was implying?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe so.
If you're wanting to make a war, call it what it is.
Well, that starts to make a lot more sense because I thought it was a weird question. Mm-hmm. But under that construct, maybe it is applicable. So look forward to seeing that answer.
Can I tell you something that bothers me about a neighbor of mine that's MAGA?
Yes.
So I've never met them. It's a road I don't even go down, but if I randomly enter the neighborhood at a different direction, I drive by their house. Mm-hmm. They have a weird cutout of Trump's face in their window. And that's whatever, dude. But then they also have a donkey with a circle and a line through it. Mm-hmm. And I've wanted to stop and tell them I think they should take the donkey down. Mm-hmm. I don't care if they love Trump, but it's divisive and dismissive to be anti something else.
Yeah.
So I almost want to be if you want to have a flag and, if you want me to paint you a picture, I can get you a reasonable price of Trump and you can hang it in your front porch.
All right, let me challenge you on that because this is what all the listeners are thinking right now. What's your position with the No Kings protest?
I think it's very American to not want to have a king in a democracy.
Okay. So
you think the American public should not push back if they have concerns about the current administration?
Well, I was challenging the hey, I don't want to be anti-democratic, but I do want to do a No Kings protest.
It's a little bit different in my heart.
Okay.
Because it's divisive in the neighborhood. Whereas if I'm going to a protest, that's a protest to make a statement and draw awareness to whatever cause, and then I'm going back home, and I will still give my neighbor sugar or help them fill their tires.
Yeah. So on the home front, you're saying it
feels more divisive. I'd rather them say they love Trump than I'm anti something else.
Okay. Yeah. And I think I can really agree with that. I think that
don't yuck someone else's yum, but
yeah, that makes sense. Well, let's lead into that. Let's some of the things. Why do people hate Trump? Why? He's accused of being, I've heard racist, I've heard fascist, I've heard a king, I've heard an evil dictator, I've heard Hitler. Why are these accusations thrown at Donald Trump?
I noticed you said those accusations, but didn't mention the convictions of the felonies of doing money embezzlement and rape. Okay,
tell me more about this. I actually don't know about. I know they had, and that's probably worth a whole nother episode. Is all the many court cases that they were trying to do to really, to me, from looking from afar, it's obvious they were just trying to keep him from running for the presidency.
I can't remember who was doing it because I don't pay attention. Like, it's amazing I have any knowledge in my head from current politics. But there was a politician, I think in New York, that was going through all of his business dealings and like how he overvalued things when he was getting loans, but then he undervalued it for tax purposes and things like that. And I think it was like a multi-million-dollar investigation that found he was $13,000 off. And they're like, the federal government shouldn't be used for this unless they know this is where the heat is.
Yeah.
Because of how much it costs and stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was one maybe warrantless.
I'm very impressed that you volunteered that. That showed real transparency.
That's the only one I know of that was warrantless.
Well, is there a bulleted list of others, or I didn't research that.
There's been tons, but yeah, he was convicted on multiple felony charges for his schools.
I do know that he was when he's arrested, like right now, he has his mugshot right outside the Oval Office, which is kind of
makes me so proud.
Yeah. Well, I think his point was, you tried, but I still got in here. So it's kind of a smug.
That's also very mature. I love it.
So let's take this off kilter. I wanted to deep dive. Why is he called, fascist, king, dictator, Hitler? All these things that I think are extremely unwarranted. But I think the rub is this. I'll say, just from at least my perspective, there may be a huge chunk of the population that feel like they're in my camp, right-wing, conservative, Christian, blah, blah, blah. And then there's a chunk that are left-wing atheists.
I'm not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone. But the way I see it, it's almost like, because somebody from an atheist perspective, they don't, essentially by definition, they don't believe in God. So there is no God. And what's funny is you have a lot of agendas that I think are very noble and good. And you put that responsibility and expectation on the government, which I would never do. I put the same on the church. Like if we were to talk about homeless, and I think homelessness is on the list for us to talk about. To me, I don't know that's. I actually do think that it is the responsibility of the government, because it's a complex issue. Maybe that's not the best example, but maybe feeding the poor or helping the poor.
And I guess because and this is me articulating or speculating what you would say. The church is supposed to be a representative of the teachings of Jesus.
Yeah.
So it has to be held to a high standard.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the government should be a representative of America as a culture, the country, the sharer of Earth as one of the many nationalities that's on the face of Earth.
Okay.
So they should be held to a high standard because they're speaking for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I can just say this. In Christian doctrine, teaching, the teaching and practice of Christianity, it is very prevalent for Christians to not put the standard of Christianity on non-Christians. That's very true. The accountability is held just strictly on Christians.
Yeah.
Now, we'll say this. You do voice sin you do voice sin to everyone, and that is what reveals to people that they're a sinner in need of a Savior to become a Christian. So that's different, but I don't know. That's probably prudent to say. So I don't know. That's just the expectation. I have a very similar drive for society to be helped, like the poor and powerless to be helped and assisted. But I put that expectation on my church, not on the government per se. So it's interesting. Anyway, let me keep pulling that thread. Where I was going with this is, I have probably a very high standard of who can be my pastor.
Yeah.
Okay, they will be polished. They will be clean. They will be have a good reputation. When it comes to president, it's just a different function. Like I don't have the same standard for my pastor as I do my president, nor do I have it for my plumber, nor my auto mechanic, nor my principal at school for my kids.
Yeah.
It's just different. I understand people are people. People make mistakes. I probably trust more towards their merit to their experience, education, and performance in that area. I just had my daughter's car looked at. I wanted to have a reputable mechanic that can do good work. Is he thrice divorced? Does he have any felonies? Does he have any? I mean, I didn't research that and don't care. So I think somebody from your perspective, you probably have a very similar standard, but because you don't have a pastor to put that on, and you don't, here's something else that I'm not saying, that I'm thinking. When I say I have that expectation on my church, what is the church? The church is not just a building. I think of the church as ecclesia. That's the Greek word for church. It's the gathering of people. It's God's people. It's Christians to be the body of Christ, to be the hands and feet of Christ, to be a light in a dark world and come and minister to the poor and powerless. So that's what I'm thinking. Whereas, you don't have a pastor to do that. You don't have a church to do that. Your church is really humanity, people at large. But to me, people are horrible. They suck. They are selfish turds. They're mean. You. Okay, well.
But the one that we elect to represent us out of millions.
Okay, right. So
could not be a felon, since the majority of humans in the United States are not felons.
Small quick tangent. I've heard some clips from from the black community that say, "Hey, finally somebody I can relate to." I'm a Trump supporter now.
I can't.
Bad joke.
I can't vouch for those clips or memes or their intent.
Homework assignment. I think it's probably good if we sit down on a particular topic and share feeds. And if I search this topic, what comes up versus when you search that topic, what comes up, and then let's compare notes.
Feed wars.
But we'll definitely hit crime statistics and disparate ratios on that, and see what does the data say, and what are the causes. How do we interpret that? How do we better understand that and contribute to our society? So that's in the list.
Let me ask you something. I saw that you had actually thought of things and prepped, and I started to, but it kept giving me a sad feeling in my heart, so I didn't.
You're quick on your feet. You're good. So it's all good.
Yeah, and I was like, I think I can fumble my way through a discussion, at least just asking questions.
No. In the way I see it, we're probably chipping the tip of the iceberg here.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to get good feedback to hit specific points, and we'll do that. Hopefully this isn't the last episode.
It's not. We're doing at least 25. That's what you promised.
I didn't really promise. I said I would do it.
So you're a liar, just like our president. Wow.
No, I didn't promise because in the Bible it says, just let your yes be yes and your no's be no.
Well, you said you'd try.
Right, that's true. I did say that. So I'm going to do it.
The thing that I did write down eventually that I wanted to ask you, and it's a 3-part question. 1, is there a public figure you used to like or support that you don't anymore?
Ooh.
I'll tell you 2 of mine real quick that are real easy. 1 is, don't you do this to me, memory. I'm blanking on one of their names, but Marilyn Manson is the other one. And I used to be a little gothic kid that liked Marilyn Manson. I still love Nine Inch Nails, going to see him in concert next February.
Did he become a Christian?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
If he did, it was just for
No, maybe
fun.
I'm thinking of somebody else.
Yeah, but anyways, I used to listen to Marilyn Manson back when I was an emo kid in the 90s and early aughts with friends and my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And my high school boyfriend is still pretty important to me. He's passed away. And so when I listen to Marilyn Manson, I'm thinking about that time in my life and that person. But I've like 5 years ago, watched a documentary about the actress from Westworld. I can't think of anyone's name right now.
Okay.
And she was in a Rachel Evan Woods.
Okay.
It's very similar to that if that's not her name. But anyways, she was in a relationship with him when she was fresh, like a teenager. And he was like 30, and he was very abusive and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So now, I haven't deleted all the Marilyn Manson on my phone.
Yeah.
But I only listen to it when I'm by myself, and if it comes on with someone else, I'll skip it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to support anything newer from him.
So 1, if you need to look up anybody, you can Google right now while I start talking. But hey, audience, did you notice the crackle in Audrey's voice?
I have ovaries, and that makes me the weaker gender. And my feeble brain. I'm surprised my husband let me out of the house. That's all I'm saying.
Wow, that is interesting. So there's a verse of scripture that says husbands should consider their wives and treat them as the weaker vessel. Now, in context, if you...
I know that. I was saying it facetiously.
if you look into that, I think the message is to treat her as something delicate, something that you should take care of and protect. You know, like a expensive vase. But anyway, I thought it was interesting that she said that. I thought she meant it, but she just said she was facetious.
It did not mean that.
So I thought she was portraying some biblical truth there, but no, so close.
Maybe
we'll
you
get
think
there.
I'm like Jesus Christ because of how sarcastic I am.
Maybe so. I've been misinterpreting her messages for years.
But is there anyone that you have?
You know, so there's got to be. But the only person that comes to mind is Bill Clinton. And of course, Bill Clinton's a Democrat, so I don't really support Democrats. But I remember when he was running, I liked him.
Yeah.
But I've come to know he's pretty sleazy. And that makes me think of another gangsta move by Trump. I saw yesterday. You know, he's spending like whatever it is, $200 million on a ballroom, and he's spending his own money, not taxpayer money. And
Inaccurate, but go on.
And is that not true?
I don't think so.
Oh.
But I don't look into stuff, so I can write it down.
Okay, that can be a homework assignment. My understanding, $200 million, new ballroom in the White House. There's him and other supporters are funding it. And it's historical for all presidents to modify the White House or the property somehow. Obama, I think, changed the tennis court to a basketball court or something. Anyway, there's history for 100 years of stuff like that. Anyway, the gangsta move on that is Hillary Clinton voiced, "This is so outrageous for him to do this. It's not his house. This is the people's house." Mm-hmm. And then he just replied, "I think I'm going to name it the Monica Lewinsky Ballroom." So I don't know. I think it's hilarious. I think it's funny, but I can see how it's very unpresidential. I see that.
It's very unpresidential. If he was Taylor Swift's ex and said that in a diss track, that would be a horse of a different color. That sort of level of propriety or what you're supposed to represent.
Yeah.
I remember when the thing with Bill Clinton happened, like, in general, I was like a 5-year-old or whatever. Like, I didn't know a lot about politics then.
Yeah.
I liked him as a person. He seemed fun, whatever. When the thing with Monica Lewinsky happened, I remember thinking, like, does that really affect him being president? And this is me as like a 12-year-old or 15-year-old. I don't remember how old I was. But like, does that actually affect him as a president, cheating on his wife? And then at the time, I kind of thought if he was a plumber, if he was whatever, the way he handles his personal relationship doesn't affect how he does the job. So I kind of don't feel like it's any of our business if he cheats on his wife. And then a little bit later in life, like maybe late high school, I remember that came up again. And then somebody's like, if he'll lie and embarrass someone he has vowed to be a life partner with in his personal life, why would you think he would hold the American public at a higher standard? And then I was like, that's a fair point. That if somebody would cheat on their spouse and also abuse their position of office to exploit a 20-year-old to...
Yeah. I think what the defining moment, at least there's probably a plethora of other moments, but in the debates when Trump's first election, when he was in the presidential primary debates, was it Megyn Kelly asked him that question?
Oh yeah, and he brought up her period. Go on.
No, or I'm not referring to that. I'm talking about.
I forgot about that.
Megyn Kelly asked him how he refers to some women as pigs and something other, and he just replied. A lot of people up to that point would just have to backpedal, have to explain it, and still look horrible. He immediately said, "Only Rosie O'Donnell," and everyone just broke in laughter. One, because it's funny, and two, I don't know. I don't even have it two. I think it's still funny. But that just showed, that was in essence the type of candidate he was going to be. He was just going to be a bulldog. He was going to plow through. Mm-hmm. He was going to, call things as they were and not have this. He wasn't going to have a facade. He was going to be so real. You definitely know exactly what his position is. Who's here? Oh, it's my son. Anyway, keep going. I think it's just a new day and age where a good portion of society is very comfortable with not having an elite presidential candidate. I mean, he dresses the part. He probably looks the part, I guess, as far as how he carries himself. But yeah, his lingo, his terminology, I can see how it's offensive to people who have that gold standard of how a president should be. So I see that, and I'm trying to think in my head, if I didn't believe in God and if I didn't have a church and I didn't have belief in Christians at large doing all this good, I could see me shifting that naturally to the POTUS. So I get it, and the more I think about it, the more I naturally have empathy, have compassion on how you see the world, and I can actually see how, man, if you watch the news and how it could be a little depressing. Yeah. So sorry.
Thanks. Sorry, I'm a basket case.
No, I did mention, her voice crackling. She has ovaries, but I tell you what she has. She has a big heart. She has a huge, big heart.
Not like a medical condition. He means the proverbial heart.
Yeah, true. She has the capacity for love. But I think it's because you're so good at psychoanalyzing people, their thoughts, and their emotions tied to their thoughts. Mm-hmm. Man, you're just like the perfect counterpart for this podcast, because that's what I'm trying to get at. And if you haven't listened to the intro, that's the angle I'm wanting to come from, is how you think and believe determines how you feel, and how you feel determines how you act. So if you haven't listened to the first podcast, check it out, because that premise is where I'm wanting to come from. And she's going to help us understand the feelings and emotions and what factors are feeding into that so we can change our behavior to be more honorable. If you're the right side, to be more honorable, to be a better ambassador for Christ, to honor God. And if you're on the left side and you don't even believe in God, hey, how to understand this person is not completely incompetent. They're wearing a MAGA hat, but guess what? I actually realized they're not evil. I know that sounds preposterous to you, but it's true. I assure you, I don't have a MAGA hat, but I could wear one. I could. And I assure you I'm not evil. I assure you. Do you think I'm evil?
No. And I don't think the majority of people who are supporters of Donald Trump are evil per se.
Yeah. There's outliers.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know any type of math, you know about bell curves and averages, and then there's outliers. And, you know, as we go through and start looking at stuff, whether it's, you know, racism or fascism or kings or, you know, all the things, accusations, statements, there's outliers. And there's different people supporting different, each party. And we may see examples. You know, one of the things that we want to talk about is which side is more violent, left or right. And as we had a quick discussion, I guess it was yesterday or the day before, we were both confused how the other thought that it was the other party. And I think it's confirmation bias, it's cognitive dissonance, it's our the algorithm feeding our information, our websites, our news. Let's get to truth. It's like the verse of scripture I read earlier. Yeah.
Scripture.
Yeah. Whatever. Can't look it up fast enough. Love does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. So let's seek truth, and Jesus is the truth.
Oh my gosh!
All right, keep going.
Wow.
So
the second part of my 3-part question.
Okay.
Name 3 other political candidates. Like if Trump evaporated, who would you want to represent your side in the political space? Do you have like 3 runner-up candidates that you like? Yeah.
So of what I've seen so far, Marco Rubio is the man. He's Secretary of State right now that Trump selected. He is surprisingly good. Now he ran against Trump. I know he did in this last election.
Yeah.
And then I want to say he did in the first election too. And what's funny, I was a big fan of Marco Rubio. I think I even liked Rubio better than Trump
in the first election.
Yeah. And I'm assuming he was in the first election. I don't.
Memories.
Who knows? That's how I remember it anyway. And I remember he was so poised, collected, and he didn't get into the third grade banter that Trump did. You know, Trump would talk to Jeb Bush and like, oh yeah, you want to talk about national debt? Well, your wife's ugly. You know. Rubio never played with that until one day he started to fight with Trump, and you can't beat Trump at that game. He just demoralized Rubio, and next thing you know, Rubio was out. But right now, Rubio is just knocking it out of the park as Secretary of State. He's so concise, good, clean, smart. Man, he's just nailing it. So I think he would probably do fantastic. You asked for 3?
But yeah, just if you have like a few. I didn't want you to be limited to 1.
You know, I would probably say Robert F. Kennedy Jr. because he was running for president too. Was he running as libertarian? Or was he just
That feels right, but I don't know that.
Or was he non-denominational? Is that what I say? No affiliated party? I can't remember. Or independent.
Yeah.
I love what he's doing with the Maha movement. Probably 10 times better than what he would do as president. Maha, Make America Healthy Again, everything associated with that. You know, he's getting rid of all the food dyes. There's so many food dyes that are illegal in Europe but are legal in America that have shown to be toxic to the human body. and he's re-examining vaccines and bringing real science to the vaccines as far as what do the test results say versus how you skewed them with lobbyists and all that.
I don't know that dyes are toxic.
That's just it. They are.
I think they take the dyes out of food over there because it's like encouraging kids to eat fatty foods and stuff, and they're very big on they are a little bit more Big Brother when it comes to what their constituents can eat and stuff.
So we can table that and we can debate it.
Food dye ?
That's under the Maha umbrella. We will be talking about the Maha movement and everything going on with that, and that'll probably include food dyes and vaccines and seed oils and all the things. And modern medicine versus diet, nutrition, exercise, stuff like that. Modern medicine is pretty much, you got a problem? Let me cut you. I will cut you. There's a good SNL skit on that. Look it up. But and then apart from surgery, they'll also, let me give you a prescription. Mm-hmm. That does not heal you. It just masks the symptoms you don't like. And then you're on a chronic ailment issue for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Keep giving me your money. So we'll talk about all that and see what we think.
The system's trash.
Yeah. So let's talk about it.
The last thing I was going to ask, what was it, or in the last election, would you have rather had Trump versus Marco Rubio? Instead
of Kamala or Biden?
No.
Like as a Democrat? Or what? What do you mean?
Would you have picked Marco Rubio over Trump, or would you think that you'd rather have Trump as president? Or was he not really in the running this last election?
So here's my opinion. I don't think you're gonna like this answer. I actually love Trump being the president. He is the bulldog that America needed to course correct. Mm-hmm. And I know that, and that's what's crazy is I know there's people who are so sad and depressed and worried about Trump being president, and they're like losing hope. Which there's a whole another populace of equal magnitude, if not greater, I guess by definition, a little greater, saying they're so excited. They're not even neutral. They're excited about it. I fall in that camp. I'm excited about all the executive orders that he's done and what he's doing with our economy and the tariffs and putting his foot down on the border issue and making change there. I know none of it's perfect. Any course of action is going to have pros and cons. Mm-hmm. So I totally understand that there's hurtful, painful cons with every choice. But I also know every course of action has that. So I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater just because, hey, here's a negative impact. Look at this situation. This is horrible. Yeah, that is the price of doing that course of action. I mean, I deal with that all the time.
Yeah.
With my life, personal life. I mean, it's just something that you got to deal with. So anyway, no, I think Trump is, I'll say, a godsend. He's a blessing to America to help course correct and get back on track. I'll tell you what, you got to, or I would ask you, do you agree with this? He's brought a measure of patriotism that has been gone for some time. There's so many people just full out patriot.
Do you think that amount of patriotism is only in your Facebook algorithm?
I don't know.
Your circles, your
friends? I mean, you're saying, is it limited to the MAGA movement? Mm-hmm. I mean, it probably is. Because it's like I just said.
Let me tell you something that I actually thought about you like 2 weeks ago. And there was, I'll say it's an auto mechanic. It may have been like a fence building company or something. But it was just an ad on the radio. I was like, hi, we're here to talk about plumbing. And we're a family of Christ lovers. And we believe in God and reasonable prices for plumbing.
Love it.
It was that.
Love it.
And
give me their number.
And that's what I said. I was like, Eric would probably love this advertisement. But for me, I feel like it's evil. Because I don't know that they're a Christian. I know they're trying to manipulate Christians.
Yeah.
That's all I know is they're trying to manipulate Christians, whether they are one or not.
Man, that's a great point that I meant to cover in this conversation, and we're getting to the end of the hour, so we're going to tap real fast. But let me push that. Your cognitive dissonance and confirmation bias, that is going to, the way you think and believe determines how you feel. How you feel determines how you act. The deal is, if somebody that is a Trump hater and they ever see him do something good, whether it's get the hostages out of the Middle East, or end the Hamas Israel war, or actually fix the border where there's not illegal immigrants, whatever MAGA movement is saying is an accomplishment, they're going to your cognitive dissonance, your confirmation bias is going to force you to see, well, he's just doing that for a nefarious reason. He's doing that to build his own ego. He gave money to that ballroom out of his own pocket. Well, it's because his pride in something, and he's going to put his name on it, and he wants to just establish his own selfish legacy. Whatever. You're going to twist it. But if you don't like them, you're going to make sure you keep not liking them. You will not accept, hey, they actually did something that's good that I could agree is good. You will not accept it as good. You will twist it. And I think the challenge for you and for me is to have the transparency, have the humility, have the realization. Guess what? Some people, even people you don't like, you just can't stand them. Sometimes they do something good. And it's okay to say, you know what? They got it right that time.
I will say I don't know that I would not give him credit if he did stuff that I liked. But I'm seriously so checked out I couldn't even tell you good or bad things he's done in the past month.
Do you know? Well, because you have no feeds showing that. I'm going to show you my feed.
I get a lot of Wicked and Taylor Swift these days.
You turned into a Swiftie.
She got me at 42. I have listened to her music through pop culture for like 20 years. And I finally was like, I guess I'm a fan now. Her
awesome.
and 9 Inch Nails are two, things I'm seeing this year.
But they have similar music, don't they?
No.
Oh, okay.
They have both mentioned male genitalia in very explicit ways in songs as of this year.
Yeah. No comment.
Anyways, we got to wrap up. I wrote down a list of things that we need to come back to. I think we both agree we haven't finished this conversation.
Yeah.
So we will put it back in the queue to come back to. I have a bunch of the specific details we can look at later. And also, we have the Reddit in the YouTube description. And if you go to it, you can add comments. It'll say submit it for approval. And that way you can send it to us and we can add it to the list of topic ideas. And you can upvote and downvote stuff so that we know what people are wanting next. I think the next topic we should do that was like at the top of our list.
Don't say it. I may disagree.
Well, that's the whole point.
Oh, what?
Abortion?
Really?
That was our next one on the list.
They're not in order. They're in order of me writing them.
Yeah, it was the second one that came to your mind.
Oh my gosh.
Is that too controversial? Do you want to?
No, let's hit it head on.
And I will give the teaser. I have a plan with bulleted points. What could make me pro-forced birth?
And I will probably, I bet I will, share a testimony where I contemplated abortion. So, as a born-again, right-wing, conservative Christian. So, that sounds crazy, but I'll tell you about it. Maybe.
You said it. No takesies, backsies.
All right. Hey, enjoyed it. Let's keep doing this. Let's see what shakes out.
Thanks for listening to us, Ryan. I appreciate you guys.
Over
Looking
now.
forward to next time.